What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about Legion post Blizzcon. I made a video talking about Legion at the initial reveal, but I want to talk about some of the stuff that was announced at BlizzCon and some of the stuff we know now that we didn't know then. Legion is something that I'm kind of up in the air about. I was excited for it because I was assuming it was going to come out in January, February. It would be early in the year because that would make sense because WoD isn't doing very well. And they said they wanted to close the gap between expansions, and I was of the belief that expansions were slowly going to become an annual thing, but I was wrong. Apparently Legion is nowhere close. My predictions of January, February are fucking wrong as fuck. At the minimum, it's going to come out in the summer, and at the maximum, it's going to come out in September. And I don't know why this rumor started up, but people are saying like September 10th is when it's going to come out. That release date doesn't really make sense to me, but I wouldn't doubt it. There are game delays. With game development, delays are a thing that happens constantly. Constantly, games are delayed. But that release date is strange for me. I feel like they would time it up with the movie a little bit better. I mean, if they're not gonna be releasing it in January or February, they might as well just release it with the movie. If I was them and the game was done, I would release it probably a week or so, maybe 2 weeks before the movie. That way you can get all the kinks worked out before the new people that see the movie come in, and you don't have that crazy initial rush, because if you release Legion after the movie, not only do you have all the people that were waiting for the expansion the entire time that were going to log on day one anyway and kill the servers, now you have all these other new people that you weren't expecting. So I would like them, if they are going to time it up with the movie, do it like 2 weeks before. That would make the most sense to me. That's what they're doing with Battlefront and Star Wars, A New Hope, or A Force Awakens, right? Yeah, Force Awakens is the name of the movie. A New Hope. What the fuck am I doing? Whatever. They are doing Star Wars Battlefront, a month before the movie. So by the time the people that see the movie come and buy the game, and everything will be worked out. So that's what I would expect them to do. As for me playing Legion, I was super hyped for it because I assumed it was going to come out early in the year when there wasn't too much going on. Obviously, we have all these awesome FPS games out right now with Halo and Battlefront and Black Ops 3 and Overwatch beta starting up. We have all these awesome FPS games, but by the time February, January through March comes around, I'm going to be tired of just playing FPS games, and I was looking forward to it coming out then. But September, if it really does come out that late, Crowfall is going to be in full-blown beta. There's going to be a lot of other cool stuff coming out by then. So that's a long time. And if they're going to bleed subscribers like crazy in Warlords of Draenor, the game, Warlords of Draenor is not doing very well. It's the least popular expansion by far. It's real bad. It's real fucking bad, and there's really no way you can't say it's not awful. They lost half their population of their game in a year. Half just gone. So it's bad, and another year of Warlords of fucking Draenor is just gonna do awful things to their game. They released their subscriber numbers. They are only down 100,000 from the last quarter, and that I would not read too much into. I think in reality, it's going to be way more than that. They did that Legion reveal. Now, I think in my initial Legion video, I talked about how strange it was for them to do an expansion reveal like this. And I think the reason they did that Legion reveal long before BlizzCon, way before they should have really done it, was to dampen that quarterly loss, because they knew that this would bring people back. Legion is the most hype expansion since Wrath of the Lich King, easily. If I was still really into WoW, some of the stuff they've announced with this expansion, I think is fucking cool. But the problem with me personally is that I can see through it. Now that I stepped away from WoW for a few years, the Stockholm Syndrome wore off, and now I can really see it for what it is and what it's become, more importantly. But some of the stuff they revealed of ooh, Demon Hunters, ooh, ooh, class halls, all that shit. They're doing some really cool stuff. So if I was really into WoW, like I was in Wrath, and then if we went from Wrath of the Lich King when I was at my highest for WoW and terms of being excited about the game, and then they went to Legion, I would just be running around like a chicken with my head cut off, like so excited. So they knew that revealing that Legion stuff would keep people from unsubscribing and bring a lot of people probably back because they're like, well, this is going to be fucking awesome. I'm going to start getting ready for it now. So that's why they did that. That's why it was probably only 100,000. Also, you have the WoW token, and apparently they're giving away lots of free game time now. And, you know, I think it's a lot more than that in reality. A year of Warlords of Draenor is not going to do them any favors. They are going to fucking tank like crazy. And that lines up with their newest announcement that they're not going to be revealing sub numbers anymore. So they come out and they say they've only lost 100,000, but like, we're not going to tell you anymore, or we're not going to tell you sub numbers anymore. I can sort of see where they're coming from with this a little bit, because it is becoming a thing now with gaming where more and more developers are hiding their playlist numbers. Like Call of Duty doesn't tell you how many people are playing Team Deathmatch or Domination or whatever. It's becoming a thing that games are doing to not be open with how many people are playing their game. And I can see why, because there are so many people that are obsessed with how big a game is. Like, they won't even touch a game if it doesn't have a bunch of people playing. Like, if it's not the new League of Legends or League of Legends, they don't give a fuck. And particularly with MMOs, there's, real toxic there. If your game is not huge, people just won't even give you a chance. And the second they see something, like, fuck you, this is why no one plays this game. So I can see why, but you're not fooling anyone, Blizzard. If the game was doing well, then you'd be all for it. So I'm not sure what I think is the game is doing shitty. That's why they're not telling people. But I can sort of sympathize there, because other people are doing it. It makes sense. I've seen the Twitch culture of, LOL, this game doesn't even have any viewers, LMAO, or that game isn't as big as this game, blah blah blah. Like, it is a thing. So, moving on. One of the things I noticed as I was watching the BlizzCon news roll in about Legion is that World of Warcraft has gotten crazy with the amount of features that are in the game. And it seems like that would be a really good thing to have all of these features and all of these things to do. But a lot of these features I feel like are just really empty and don't really add anything to the game. So I came up with a list of just the things I can think of. And there's probably a bunch of other stuff that I missed because there's so many of them now, I just can't remember them all. So starting off, we've got pet battles, garrisons, farming in Mists of Pandaria, archaeology, time walking, challenge mode, Brawlers Guild, a new thing called Keystone Dungeons, 4 raid difficulties, a new Dalaran Sewers minigame. You see how all these things could like potentially detract from the 3 Triforce things of MMOs, which is PvE, PvP, and the leveling / world immersion experience. Those are the 3 pillars of MMOs. And when you have things like pet battles and Brawlers Guild, like, is that really a thing that adds to the game, or is that taking away potential resources from the 3 important pillars of, PvE, PvP, world story, quest, immersion, whatever you want to call that 3rd pillar. So just seeing all these features that they have to keep up with and update. Like if archaeology got removed from the game, like I remember when archaeology came out, I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool, whatever. But if they just took it out, would it really matter? If they just took out Brawlers Guild, would it really matter? Does that really add that much to the game? If they took out pet battles, would it really matter? Like, is that the thing that defines what World of Warcraft is, and the thing that made World of Warcraft so great in the past was the pet battles? Is that, like, you see where I'm coming from with this? I feel like these features almost just take away more than they add, because they just have to keep them up, and I don't know. So let me know what you think about that. Moving on to some class changes. These were revealed, I think, after BlizzCon, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be talking about all the class changes, just the ones that are relevant to me and the classes I play, and ones that I thought were interesting. So to start off, Feral Druids, not much has changed. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, when I mean not much has changed, I don't mean anything has changed, really. There's a new talent that apparently halves the duration of bleeds, but makes them tick twice as hard. Whatever. It's probably going to be the same shit. Let's be real. It's probably going to be the same thing. And I don't mind that because I think Warlords of Draenor for Feral Druids in terms of PvE, DPS was fantastic, and PvP as well. I loved the high skill ceiling. I think Warlords of Draenor, if I'm remembering correctly, I think it was the absolute highest skill cap for a Feral Druid rotation that we've ever seen. A talent like Blood Talons and Omen of Clarity, and putting those two together, and just Omen of Clarity and Blood Talons and knowing when to use those two abilities just by themselves really just made the skill ceiling just high as fuck. And the rotation, I was on point. I just loved it, man. I loved that as a good Feral Druid, I would just blow other Feral Druids out of the water in terms of DPS. And that appears to be staying. So I like the Feral changes, or the lack of changes. So good for them. I don't think they've taken anything out. Maybe if maybe they removed Blood Talent. Even if they took Blood Talents away, I still think Ferals are going to be one of the highest skill cap. They've always been. Ever since Wrath, they've always been the high skill cap, quote unquote hardest DPS class, or at least up there for the hardest ones. So I like that. Outlaw Rogues. I don't play a rogue, but I think it's cool as fuck that they're giving rogues guns and they're renaming the spec and giving that spec its own identity, because combat rogues have always kind of just been, you're a warrior, fury warrior in leather, and yes, it's always been a little bit of a weird thing. So to give them their own identity and to give them a gun, that's cool. I like that. Are they still gonna have two daggers? Like, are they still gonna have, or not daggers, two swords, but also have access to a gun? Or are they gonna have a sword and a gun, and the gun is now their weapon that they gear for? I would guess they're still gonna have two swords, and the gun is going to be a thing they pull out. But I don't know. Somebody else might know about that. Next up, we've got Warrior. And Warrior is something a lot of you guys probably don't know me for, but I was actually a pretty good Warrior for a while when I came back to WoW for one of my short vacations. But WoD, man, WoD sucked ass for Warriors. Maybe I'm alone in this, but that Whirlwind shit is just garbage. Dude, I swear, the Warrior is like the most inactive class. You're just so hindered by your Mortal Strike and Colossus Smash cooldowns, and I feel like I'm just sitting there not doing shit for a lot of the time I'm playing a Warrior in the current expansion, and I miss having Overpower, and Slam is not a thing anymore, or at least in the current game. I think you can talent for it, but no one does, so it's just like, it's been a while since I've played WoD, but I swear it's just like Mortal Strike, Colossus Smash, and Whirlwind, and that's fucking like all you do, and it just sucked. So WoD was fucking lame. However, I talk a lot of shit about MoP, but when I was playing a Warrior in MoP, it was so much fun. And I know it was so broken. Like, MoP Warriors were like the most absurd thing I've ever seen. I've talked about this in other videos, but MoP Warriors at the start of MoP, in my opinion, were more overpowered than Death Knights were at the start of Wrath. And people don't believe me when I say that, but MoP Warriors had like everything. 2 spell reflects and 2 pummels. People forget about this shit. The fucking AoE shout that you could do while you were blade storming. What was it called? Interrupting shout, or disruptive shout, or some shit. You could be blade storming and go, and fucking interrupt somebody that was getting ready to cyclone your healer. This shit was fucking amazing. So let's do a quick role play here, and I'm gonna pretend I'm a mage trying to polymorph a warrior in Mists of Pandaria. So, casting my polymorph, fake his first pummel. Casting my polymorph, fake his second pummel. Casting polymorph again, fake his first reflect. Ice Lance the reflect off, or whatever, to get rid of the spell reflect. Casting polymorph, get his second reflect. Casting polymorph, get pummeled. Because pummel is now back off cooldown from the first pummel that happened back 10 fucking years ago when you were faking all the other bullshit. It was crazy. 2 pummels, 2 reflects, the fucking sickest damage in World of Warcraft history. Literally one-shotting people with 5 stacks of Taste for Blood. Just bonkers. Crazy mobility. You had, I think, Charge, Intervene, and Intercept, I think you had Intercept? You were fucking flying all over the map, throwing banners, and Intervene broke Roots. I think they took that away. And then you also just couldn't fucking die because you could sit in defensive stance and have the sickest fucking rage generation. Second Wind was just stupid as fuck. And literally there's a video of Wreckful 1v1ing Conrad, who's a warlock, a pretty good warlock. and he's just not getting healed. It's just second wind, just keeping him up. Second wind, lol. That dude, warriors were so broken. It was unbelievable. So warriors and mop were pretty fucking good. I think there was a time where they sucked because Blizzard just gutted their damage completely. But they had so many tools. They had so much shit. And then for them to go into WoD immediately after, and they took all of it away. They took like all of it away. So people, the jump there was pretty bad, but they took away overpower, and they're giving that back, but it's still a heavy RNG based class, and that's kind of what the problem is with WoD warriors right now. With Fury, if you're not enraged, man, it sucks dick, and that's a thing in Legion as well. Like, all of the RNG mechanics are still there. Colossus Smash is still there. I am not a fan of Colossus Smash for warriors. One of the reasons I liked warriors back in like BC and Wrath and is because they weren't dependent on damage windows. Like with Colossus Smash, you weren't dependent on, having this thing up and doing all your damage in this short period of time. It was like more of a steady thing, and it was momentum based and with the rage mechanics. And but Colossus Smash just is fucking lame, man. And then to tie it into RNG, I'm not super excited about that. But they're giving warriors back overpower, so hopefully there's not going to be these huge dead spaces in the rotation. Because right now, dude, Whirlwind just fucking sucks, man. Whirlwind is garbage. Just is lame. It's lame. It just feels stupid when you're playing it too, because you're like, Mortal Strike, Colossus Smash, Whirlwind. Well, that was a horrible idea. I am no longer going to be spinning around in my chair for this video. My 4K camera just took its first topple off of a tripod 3 feet up in the air onto my hard-ass desk. So I don't think anything happened. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. So anyway, last class changes I want to talk about is Fury Warriors. And I am actually kind of excited for Fury Warriors. A lot of people don't like it, but I think it's pretty interesting. So they are making Fury a particularly volatile class. So Enrage is going to make you attack twice as fast. When you are enraged, you're going to attack 100% faster than if you're not enraged. And Enrage is still RNG. And I kind of don't like that, but I kind of do and I kind of don't. I understand that RNG is part of the magic of MMOs and keeping things fresh by having RNG. Like, a lot of people just instantly shit talk RNG, but they don't realize that without it, things become very routine and very robotic, and it's just 1 1 1 2 1 1 1. You have to have some RNG there to make it 1 1 3 2 1 1 3 4 5 whatever. Some RNG is good, but with something as big as Enrage, I'm hesitant. But I do like that Enrage makes you attack faster rather than just increasing your damage outright, because I think that is just cooler. It's more Fury feeling, and there's also even more attack. So you attack twice as fast when you're enraged, and they also brought back Frenzy, which increases your haste by up to 50% as a stacking buff. I'm assuming you're going to be able to keep that up, and that's going to be part of the skill of playing Fury Warriors, managing that. So you can be attacking up to 150% faster. So you're going to be like, just swinging like crazy. And then you've got a Rampage ability, which makes you swing like crazy for 2 seconds. And it's going to be crazy with all the haste and shit that Fury is going to have. But talking about them making the class volatile, the Fury Warrior is going to be incredibly volatile. You're going to have a lot of health, but take a lot of damage, get healed a lot. And I like that. So when you're enraged, you take 30% more damage. And if you've ever played a Fury Warrior, you're enraged pretty much most of the time. That's what I would guess. They're going to balance the damage around being enraged most of the time. So you're going to be taking 30% more damage, but you also have more health because they're giving warriors passive health talents, and you're dual wielding with Titan's grips. You have more health there. And you're healing yourself with Bloodlust and all the other Fury Warrior, or Bloodthirst, and all the other Fury Warrior healing talents. So you have more health. Your health is going down faster, but it's also going up from your self heals, and you have a bigger pool. So the Fury Warrior's health is just gonna be like, bleh, and it's gonna be really, really volatile. And I like that because it's different from the other classes. We'll see how they balance it. It could be fucking AIDS. I'm a PvPer at heart, and I could just imagine like, you're a Fury Warrior and you're facing RLS and you get rotted down like 70% because it's an Affliction Warlock, and you just get swapped to and just get fucking raped because you're enraged. I'm sure Fury Warrior PvP will be a lot of people clicking off their Enrage. That's going to be a big deal to have a macro as a Fury Warrior to click off your Enrage and to self-dispel it. I think you can do that with Enrage, right? I haven't tried because why would you? But I think you can take off your own Enrage. Let me know if you can. But I'm sure that'll be a big deal. I'm sure every Fury Warrior PvPer will have that macro and will be very... real quick on the trigger to take it off, because 30% more damage taken is crazy, and especially, you get kidney shot into a smoke bomb and you're enraged, 30% more damage, and you've already been rotted down 70% by a warlock. Yeah, it's the scary time. So I like that Fury is going to be real volatile like that. I think it's different. I think it's cool. Next up, we have the Legion pre-order bonus. A lot of people are real upset about them wanting you to pre-order Legion and for them to be giving away things for doing it. I don't think it's bad. In this particular case, I'm normally against pre-order bonuses like exclusive skins for GameStop pre-orders for Halo or whatever. I'm really against that shit. And pre-ordering games is dumb. They don't run out of games anymore. This isn't 2004 with Halo 2 and them running out and you not being able to get a copy. It's just not a thing anymore. There's digital distribution. Pre-ordering games is complete bullshit. But I don't mind the Legion pre-order bonus because I think it's a good enough bonus. I think it's fair, and I just think it's cool. I think it's a good idea, and I can see why they want to do it. So the pre-order bonus for Legion is that you can play the Demon Hunter 1 week early. You can get your Demon Hunter leveled up and ready to go into the expansion. I can't remember what level they start at, but essentially you can get your Demon Hunter, play it early, and get it ready to go into the expansion 1 week early if you pre-order Legion. So that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense to me because they obviously want to get your money before you play the new class, so you gotta buy it early. And they're not giving away anything exclusive either. So it'd be one thing if the Legion pre-order bonus was like, get this mount that's exclusive that you can only get from pre-ordering, but I think it's fine. I think that is fine. You get to play a week early, you get to get your Demon Hunter out of the starting zone, whatever, and get ready for the expansion. I just don't particularly think that's unfair, and I actually think it's pretty cool. If that was a thing with Wrath, I'm sure they would have done perfectly well. Now, if they get to the point where the next expansion pre-order bonus is like pre-order now and get the exclusive pet mount thing, then that's bullshit. But if it's something that everyone's gonna get or do, and I think it's fine. Next up, we have PvP. So PvP off to a great fucking start. No new battlegrounds, no new arenas at launch. Apparently they're working on 2 maybe arenas. That's what they literally said that shit. They're like, we have 2 arenas in mind, but so really no new PvP content. Hooray. There is a PvP prestige system, which I think is cool as fuck, but really the whole PvP team is working on that. Like, there's no new battlegrounds, no new arenas. Like, you guys better knock it out of the park. It's a good idea. I think it's fucking cool to have the icons on your portraits and stuff. But how much development? Like, how many people does that take? It doesn't, unless I am severely underestimating how much is going to be in this PvP prestige system. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. It seems like you get some fucking graphic designer to design some emblems that go over some portraits and maybe some skins and whatever, but it doesn't really seem like it's that big of a feature, but maybe I'm wrong. No new BGs? Really? 2 expansions? No new BGs? 2 expansions? No new arenas? Guys, and it's not, like, it's one... The thing that's so frustrating about PvP and not having content is that the PvP content is the most valuable content in the game in terms of the amount of development time that goes into it compared to how much people play it. Like, they made Warsong Gulch, whatever, 8 fucking years ago, and they have gotten millions and potential, whatever, probably billions of hours of gameplay out of just Warsong Gulch, whereas they make a raid and after six months, no one fucking touches it anymore, which is a whole new issue. But PvP content, people played in a grand arena fucking over and over and over and over again for hours and hours and hours and hours for years and fucking decades almost. So the goddamn guys, come on, that's bad. That's real bad. You can't just come out. This was the time. This is when you come out and go, Legion, 2 new battlegrounds, 3 new arenas. And you just go and you fucking drop the mic. Because, like, listen, we know Ashran was shit, but we're going to make it up to you. We got some sick new arenas, some sick new BGs, prestige system. We know we sucked dick in WoD. We know that shit was complete trash. But here we go. We're gonna start. We're gonna make it up to you. But nope, no new arenas, no new BGs. Nope. I will say that them balancing, them taking, I can't talk. Them making PvP stats and PvE stats separate. That is fucking great. That is the absolute #1 best thing happening about Legion PvP is that they are making the stats completely separate. Let's say a warrior has 100 strength in PvP and 110 in PvE. So if warriors suck dick in PvE, they make the strength on the PvE side more. If they're doing too much damage in PvP, they can just go, warriors have 90 strength in PvE now. So that is fantastic. So I don't want to talk too much shit, but really no new PvP combat spaces. Like, fuck, man. Now to the Demon Hunter. So this is the reason why I was potentially gonna play Legion. Demon Hunters, that's the soft spot in my heart, man. Ever since I played Burning Crusade and I went up to the top of Black Temple and navigated around all the crazy Magtheridon and all that crazy shit going on up there, and I saw the Demon Hunters training the Blood Elves and the Night Elf NPC with the black bandana training the Blood Elves, and that was actually a pretty popular farming spot back in the day because the mob density was so high that you could get lots of Netherweave cloth. Anyway, I always wanted to play one of those. I was like, this has got to be a class, man. Fuck, these guys are badass. And now they're a class, and I want to play one because I always want. Even I was 13, 14. Actually, no, probably 14 when Burning Crusade came out, right? Man, good time. So I've always wanted to play one, and they're making the class very Wildstar-esque. Very much about mobility, double jumping, lots of telegraphed abilities that you actually like physically aim by facing a certain direction. So that's interesting to see them going that direction. They went that direction with the Monk, and they're even doubling down with the Demon Hunter. So you've got lots of mobility. You've got, I wrote down this Spectral Sight. So Spectral Sight, Spectral Sight, that's an interesting ability. So Spectral Sight is an ability that allows you to see stealth enemies through line of sight. It's got a 10-second cooldown and it lasts until canceled. Maybe it won't work in PvP, but if it does, that is troll as fuck if that works in PvP, because that like destroys RMD. I could imagine facing RMD as a Demon Hunter, especially when you have abilities like Glaive Toss and Eye Beams. Could you imagine running in as an RMD against a Demon Hunter and triple stealth? That's like the big thing with the RMD is the triple stealth. Those openers are crazy because you can't prepare for it because it's just fucking, they are all out of stealth, and there they are. Druid comes out with Cyclone right out of stealth and you're just fucked. But imagine playing a Demon Hunter against that shit. You're like, Spectral Sight, bleep, psh, Eye Beam that guy out of stealth, Glaive Toss, get the mage and the rogue guy. That's gonna be troll as fuck. There's gonna be so many people pissed off about that if you can do that in PvP. So who knows? But let's talk about the mobility. Things like glide. So Demon Hunters have a glide ability where if you jump off a high spot, you can pop your wings out. If you hold the space bar down as you're falling, then you glide. That's cool as fuck. They have double jump. That's also cool as fuck. I'm a big fan of Wildstar and how they did their mobility, and they're just straight up taking some shit. So I'm fine with that. The Demon Hunter has an interrupt that gives you max fury, which is I believe a mix of like rage and energy. I haven't looked into the fury resource too much. I would assume it's rage, right? But if you hit your interrupt successfully, then you get full fury. So the Demon Hunter interrupt is basically like Wind Shear. It's a 20-second cooldown, which is fucking long, and it only has a 3-second lockout. So that's kind of it. That's kind of interesting because I feel like Demon Hunters are going to use their interrupt in PvP more for the damage than the actual lockout. Like, I don't think Demon Hunters are going to be hanging on to their interrupts with the way that mechanic works. Just because it's so easy to use the interrupt for optimal DPS. Like, you dump your fury, and then you 20-yard interrupt some bullshit spell and get full fury again. I feel like that's the way people are going to use it more than just hanging on to it. But I like that. I like that stuff. I really like on my Feral Druid how when I hit a successful Skull Bash, it gives me a charge of Tiger's Fury, and I've got some crazy PvP videos, like arena videos of me just, you hit the Tiger Fury and then you reset your Tiger Fury and do it again. If it's crazy. You can do crazy damage as a Feral if you're doing 2 back-to-back Tiger Furies, and that's fun. I like that. Fel Rush. So they've got an ability where they charge forward and do damage. That's a cool ability because you can use that for mobility as well as the damage. And they've got another ability where they attack and then they jump backward. I think they call it Vengeful Retreat. So lots of abilities that make you jump or dash or glide or fly. Metamorphosis, you jump up in the air and do a 3-second stun. So I'm assuming Metamorphosis is going to be like literally the Illidan You Are Not Prepared shit from the Burning Crusade trailer where you go and you come up with the wings and you crash down. I'm assuming that's what it's going to be. Metamorphosis, what an interesting ability. So first you have the 3-second stun. So you pop Metamorphosis, you stun, I think, everybody around you for 3 seconds? I can't remember what it was, but then you get 100% leeching damage. So I'm assuming leeching damage is every damage point I do also heals me. So 100% lifesteal, and you're doing increased damage with 2 of your primary attacks. 10-minute cooldown. So 30 seconds of extra damage, 3-second stun, and leeching damage. So it's going to be an offensive and defensive cooldown. Crazy ability, but a 10-minute cooldown. So that's crazy. That is usable in arenas. I think anything 10 minutes or under is usable in arenas. But that is the most YOLO fucking cooldown I've ever seen in WoW, I think. I can't think of anything else that's 10 minutes. I guess Bloodlust back in the day was 10, right? That was YOLO as fuck. That was a one-trick pony ability you only did really once per game. And that affected everybody. Like, this is... But the difference with Bloodlust is that affected everybody. This is just you. So that is crazy. I think I like it, but I think that's going to be crazy as hell, too, with Rushdown comps, with, Beast Cleave with Demon Hunters. Who knows? It could happen. Anyway, last ability, Chaos Nova, which is leg sweep with a resource cost. I think this ability is probably going to be significantly bigger than leg sweep just because it has a longer cooldown. I think it has a longer, maybe it's the same, but it also has a resource cost. So I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit bigger just because it sounds like it's Chaos Nova. It's not just leg sweep, is just your leg. I don't know. Whatever, we'll see. But that could be potentially pretty crazy depending on how big Chaos Nova the radius is. So my concerns with the Demon Hunters is that they could be Windwalker 2.0. That is the number one concern I have with the Demon Hunter, is that it could be Windwalker 2.0 and MOP with no survivability whatsoever. I made some videos back when MOP first came out. There's a video called MOP Damage is Absurd, where Windwalkers just didn't have any defensives really. You had Touch of Karma, and that was really it. It wasn't like when you play a warrior where you've got D-Stance and Shield Wall and Spell Reflect and Enter and all these tools to really mitigate damage, and all these more minor defensives like Retaliation, which is not a huge defensive cooldown, but it's a small thing. I have a feeling that Demon Hunters are gonna be very similar to Windwalkers in terms of defensives, where it's just like you're maybe gonna have this one thing and then you're just gonna explode, or you maybe don't even have that one thing, and you have just these annoying passive defensives like Flame Glow or something. So either Demon Hunters, I don't think they're going to hit the balance right in terms of survival. I think Demon Hunters are either going to be annoying with some sort of annoying passive defensive talent that just it makes them really hard to kill, or they're just going to explode. That's my prediction there on defensives, because they don't have spammable CC. They don't have minor defensive cooldowns. It looks like they might get a few major ones. Obviously Metamorphosis is kind of a defensive cooldown because you get increased damage and you have 100% lifesteal. So that's not really defensive. That's 10 minutes. That's a long fucking cooldown. So we'll see how that works out. I have a feeling the survivability is gonna take some work though. So let me know what you guys think. I think I hit everything I want to talk about. Overall, Legion, I still think it's cool. The release date is not doing them any favors, though. The release date is fucking AIDS. Like, that timing, man. I have a feeling it's going to come out in the summer rather than September, but it might not. It might not, because the game delays are a real thing, and Blizzard delays like crazy. They have a horrible track record of hitting their shit on time, and people seem to think that's a good thing. Like, oh, they only release it when it's ready, but I don't think that's always particularly a good thing, because with some other games I've played recently, and with Crowfall, actually, you know, they've delayed some stuff, but they've been pretty much on point, you know, with them coming out and saying this is going to happen, and this is when it happens, and it happened then. So, everybody just like circle jerking, oh, they only release it when it's ready. You know, maybe they're just shitty at planning, you know. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. If you made it this far, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out a lot, and selling out ain't easy, and I'm only in this for the money, so be sure to hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Even if you hate it, fuck you. Just tell me to go fuck myself. Leave a comment. None of you motherfuckers comment, and it irritates the shit out of me. So leave a comment, like, subscribe, and share it with your friends on Facebook and Twitter, because I gotta get paid.